Hello.
Hi, Jen. Nice to see you.
How are you?
Very well in yourself.
I am better. Should we share what we just what we just did?
Absolutely.
So we were filming this and I was outside in this great background with plants and trees behind me and sitting in a lovely chair, and then my battery died on my laptop. So I moved inside, found a spot, tuned in, plugged in again, began the session again, and then my battery died again because I realized that the switch on the extension cord for the plug wasn't actually switched to the on position. So even though my battery cord was plugged in, the extension cord switch wasn't. So got in another location and tried it again. And then I had a window to the right that was shining all this light on the right side of my face, casting shadows and making my right side of my face not even very visible as far as the outline. And then so we kept switching around, and now it's not perfect, but we're doing it.
But it's doable.
It's doable. So welcome everyone who's seeing this right now. This is Tuesday, September, well, at least where I am, September 25th, 2018. And it's about 11:35 a.m. Pacific Standard Time where I am in Santa Barbara, California. And
we're having an amazing conversation.
And it is what time where you are in the world?
It is 8:36 p.m. and I am in South Africa, about 2 hours from Cape Town, right at the southern point of Africa.
Wow. South Africa, Santa Barbara, California. This is so incredible. And I know we have lots to talk about, but one of the things is things keep coming up in my conversations with other people that have some type of connection, like the 6 degrees of separation, right? So I was just talking with someone Saturday that I spent the day with, and he was talking about South Africa. And I said, oh, by the way, I'm going to be doing a transmission with a woman in South Africa that I've never met, but I'm so excited. So I'm just happy to see the little sparkles of starlight just coming and bouncing off of our lives, letting us know that we're on the path. Everything is happening for us. It's all wonderful and it all feels good. I'm really excited.
And I think now that you said that, what's really, isn't it amazing? I mean, in the bigger scheme of things, I'm always so aware that we are part of a bigger picture. You know, that whatever we desire, that, you know, there are a lot of components that need to get into place for anybody to have anything and for everybody to have it good.
Yes.
So for me, what's amazing is the fact that we connected, and the fact that we are that led us and inspired us to have these transmissions, because we had such a connection that first time we just met, for people who've seen each other for the first time in their lives.
Really?
And that happened, you know, like, even though we are one of I don't know how big the population in the world is, but like us two people connected.
I know.
That's amazing.
I know. We're 10,000 miles apart, I think, if I'm correct. No, that doesn't even sound like enough, but maybe. We're across the world, almost as far as you can get from each other. And so since our first transmission got cut off because of the battery, I'm just going to replay that. So we are both on Facebook, and occasionally I'll go on Facebook and a list of suggested friends to send requests to pops up. And so occasionally I'll look at that, and I'll look at the friends that they recommend. And if they have a lot of shared connections, as maybe 15 to 20 or more, I'll take a look at the profile of that person and get a good feel of who they are and what they do in the world. And if I feel like I want to be, connected with them. And so your picture popped up and your name popped up. And I didn't even look at where you lived in the world. I just said, yep, I got to know her. So I sent a friend request out. You responded pretty much immediately. And then after you responded and accepted my request, you sent a message to me. Do you remember what your message said?
Absolutely. I said, Jan, thank you for connecting. And could I invite you to a virtual coffee?
Yeah.
And I do that as a habit because I really like to meet people who I befriend on Facebook. And it's not just a number, but really a person, especially as you say, looking at I'll do that as well. I look at the profile and I thought, wow, you look delicious. I need to know you.
How sweet. That's exactly what you said in your message. And I thought, oh my gosh, because that came from, I felt your energy, just like it sailed across the planet and said, that's powerful. This person feels a connection with just my profile, my picture, and wants to know me. I mean, that's completely different than the 1,000 other people that send a request, hi, how are you doing? So I'm just really grateful. So our first conversation, we actually postponed because I needed to tackle some other appointments and things. And so when we finally talked, I was thinking maybe, 30-minute call. We were on the phone for an hour and a half, or on the Zoom meeting for an hour and a half. And we were just like, boom, 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 sparking ideas off of each other and joy and coincidences and things about each other that we shared, and they were the same or similar. And then these ideas just popped up, and it was just like the name of this transmission, which is permission to come alive. I just felt everything coming alive.
Absolutely. I've seldom had a connection with someone so spontaneous, and the first time meeting someone, and really felt that we were on the same frequency.
Exactly.
And
it's a good way to put it.
And really just zooming in, just sort of gliding in with each other, the ideas, the energy, everything we talked about, it just resonated with each other. And yes. And we thought, that it was so spontaneous and so lovely that we really want to do this again and share it.
Yes. And we wanted it to be casual and comfortable, just like the first time. In fact, we wished that we had recorded that and could keep parts of that, but there were parts that we didn't really want to, put out there. But yeah, so the whole point of this is to be in the now, right where we're at, in the present moment, completely authentic. And
unplugged.
What?
Unplugged, totally live.
Absolutely. And so as we were talking, all these ideas kept germinating in my mind and coming up to the surface for me to share. And so we just decided that we needed to share the excitement of our encounter and our ideas and our joy and what we think about what does it mean to come alive, and why are we naming these transmissions permission to come alive? I mean, thoughts come to my mind like, what does coming alive mean? Of course, people might say, well, what do you mean coming alive? I'm alive. I'm a human. I'm walking around. I'm alive. What do you mean coming alive? I'm not dead. And then the next thought is,
most people look like they did.
And the next thing is, so why do I need permission? And who do I need permission from? So I want to kind of just share our ideas about what that means, the permission part and becoming alive. What does that look like? What does that mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So you just said most people look like they're dead.
Yes. I mean, really, if you think about it, and I think we are so robotized. Mm-hmm. Most people. we are just like zombies, just on autopilot.
Mm-hmm.
And we and I think the sadness for me is that people don't realize that they can change.
Yeah.
People don't understand that they have the most powerful piece of equipment between the ears,
Mm-hmm.
and that they can really become who they want to be. And I mean, that's a process. Of course, it's a process. It's not something that happens overnight. But just that journey is so amazing. Just to start realizing I can maybe make a choice here. I maybe can choose. Even if it's to choose to drive another route to work,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
or to have another breakfast, or to not have breakfast, or just to make little choices against the routine
Mm-hmm.
and the sleep that you are in.
When you said that you see a lot of people who look like they're walking around dead, I had that same experience in 2011 when I had this idea to create this go-to destination retreat business called the It Weekend. And the premise was, what is it that's missing in your life? What is it that would make you feel alive? What is it that seems to help other people have such a successful, joyful, healthy, vital life? What is it that's missing? What is it, that business never came to fruition, but it actually separated into many parts that did come to fruition for me in my life, which is a topic of another transmission. But when I was in that mindset and I was thinking about that and I was just focused on it, and it was all I could think about, as I was driving down the streets and the freeways and looking around me, I made notes about, it just looks like everyone is on autopilot. Everyone is either numb, they're in a daze, they're plugged into some headphones with music turned up, or they're listening to some loud news radio talk, or they're looking very sad, or they're looking exhausted, or they're just checked out. And I think we're going to have a lot to share along those lines about what that means and what the opposite means, which is coming alive. I don't want to try to cover everything right now today, but that's just another example of the little coincidences, if you want to call them that, between you and I coming together, that you just shared that thought with me, that observation, and I had that observation too, that exact one,
Yeah.
And I'm sure thousands of people also have that observation at one time or another, but let's talk from there.
Yeah. And I think, you use the term numb.
Yeah.
And I think what often happens is that people, they may have some kind of glimpses of awareness of, is this it? Basically, is this what my life is? I'm maybe in my 40s or in my 50s, I'm going to live at least another 30 years. Is this it?
Mm-hmm.
And that somehow they feel trapped,
Mm-hmm.
but they also, it's like the frog in the pot.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't do anything about it. They
Mm-hmm.
just accept it as this is sort of, as good as it gets.
Mm-hmm.
And also that they don't want to rock the boat.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if people have been together for a long time, if you've been in a marriage or a relationship, and sort of things are also on autopilot, then it's very difficult to break out of that mold. It really takes courage. It really takes resilience. It really takes standing up for yourself and decide, listen, I'm not going to die like this, or I'm not going to die with my music in me, or I have to do something for me. And, if you talk about the universal laws and the laws of sacrifice, the law of sacrifice is to sacrifice something lower so that you can experience something higher.
I was just going to say that. It's like when the pain, when the pain of that comes with fear of staying the same and having the same thing that you're experiencing right now becomes greater, that tipping point, than the pain of the fear of change. That's when change happens.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. You need that. You need that energy.
Yeah.
Otherwise, nothing will change.
Yeah. So as we do these transmissions, we haven't even talked about how often we're going to do them, but how often we want to, how often we're inspired. And we talked about setting an intention before we do each one. And right before we recorded this, we thought we would just share that intention on this recorded conversation, transmission, rather than talking about it ahead of time. So it can be more raw and real and alive. So do you want to start first, or do you want me to start first?
I think you can start first, Jen.
Okay. So I'm not prepared at all for what I'm going to say. So it's just coming up from within me right now. So my intention is to feel as alive and excited and inspired and passionate as possible right now with each transmission that we have, so that that energy, and if you want to call it that vibrational frequency, is so palpable and tangible that people watching this and hearing this can feel it right now. And I am just, and at any moment during any of these transmissions, I may actually break down and cry, because I'm just a extremely passionate and emotional person, and I'm just not going to hold back if that happens. But I am just so grateful. So grateful that we have this technology available to us, that we can actually talk with each other across the world, and we can record our conversations, and then we can share these conversations across virtual reality, so that virtually everyone in reality can hear this. And so I'm so grateful for meeting you, even though we've never been in person. We will someday.
I'm sure you will.
I'm so grateful that the laws of the universe and my heart and my desires and my dreams, wishes, and passions manifested in meeting you and sharing my desires with you, and feeling that connection that you wanted the same, and that we get to do this. And so my intention is just to let all of that show itself every single time we have this transmission, and let it go where it goes.
Let it go where it goes.
Yeah.
My intention is very much the same as yours, to be really present and authentic, and cry if I want to cry,
Absolutely.
laugh if I want to laugh, not without apology, and not to be politically correct at all. Just be who I am, and just really, it's so easy to be who we are. It's much easier to be who we are if we know also who we are. I think we are. And I'm not saying that I know exactly who I am. I think it's a lifelong discovery of getting to that place where we really know who I am. Sometimes I feel so unaware of who I really am. So my intention will not get sidetracked, because I easily can get sidetracked. My intention is to be present here, and to give of myself, to really deeply give of myself. And I'm also so grateful to have met you, Jan. I feel like I've known you before. I feel like I've known you in a previous life or something. That it's such a deep connection. And I'm wondering, you see, getting emotional.
I love that.
I'm wondering if when we do this, if people love this, if you out there see this and you like this kind of transmission that we are doing. And Jana, I haven't even discussed this with you, so I hope you are in on this. That that if you really love this, that we tell you when we're going to do one again. If you want to join us live.
Absolutely.
And feel free to ask questions, and let's maybe expand the circle of people who really connect with us.
Absolutely. Thank you. That was beautiful. And so one of the other things in transition here that we talked about is wanting to know why we're doing this. We just stated our intentions once we decided to do this, what our intentions for each transmission is, but why in the beginning? What were you want to share a couple of your whys for why you wanted to? And they might be the same as your intention. They might be different.
Well, my why is for this, and especially after we had our first such a spontaneous conversation. Gosh, I wish we recorded that.
I know.
That it's just to have fun, to have really fun, just being in the present, and just allow that conversation to carry us, to allow the energy to carry us. Because that's one thing I thrive on. I love meaningful conversations. Yes. I love talking about something that has a purpose, that has a meaning, that touches us deep inside, and not just superficial. I've never been very good at small talk. So that is my why personally, to have fun, to get to know Jan better, because I just know that I'm going to learn from this woman. She's on another spiritual level as where I am. And that's actually interesting to share as well, Jan. Jan had this, she talked about her go-to astrology person, and she's going to meet this Gemini. But then also in numerology, my birth date number is an 8. Mm-hmm. And that means my intention in this world is a material manifester. Is that right?
Yes. Physical manifestations.
Physical manifestations. Mm-hmm. And for Jan, it is all about, she's a spiritual. And it's so amazing for this to come together, because in my quest to conquer this, and of course you will know eventually about my history, etc., but to really fulfill this intention is to have that spiritual connection, that harmony, that vibration alignment with source, in order to be able to manifest on this physical plane. And so that is such a beautiful connection, and I know I'm going to learn a lot from you on that, to really deepen my relationship and my growth to my next level.
Well, two people who end up meeting each other only meet each other because they're on the same vibration, and they both are going to complement one another with their gifts and receiving the gifts of the other person. So there's never a meeting of two people that's only for the purpose of one person's gain. So with you receiving the gifts of my spiritual wisdom, for me, it's receiving the gifts of your physical, practical knowledge. And for an example, this is my first Zoom meeting. I mean, I had signed up for Zoom. I had an account, but I never used it. I didn't know how. Remember? So on our Facebook messages, as I'm going on my daily walks, I'm picking your brain. Okay, so what do I do then? And who do I contact? And can I record it? And how do you set it on this? And how do you set it on that? And simple things like that. But for me, the things that I don't know, I feel like you're going to supply those, you know?
Well, that's amazing.
Yeah. And that's, you know, I talk about all kinds of things, but since we're on the subject of the numbers and the numerology, you know, you're being an 8, the powerful physical manifester. There's just a vital life force energy usually behind people under an 8, that they have this drive, this inner drive to accomplish and produce and create things of physical substance on this planet to show the world and to possibly leave as a legacy. And that's what continues to motivate, inspire, and energize them.
That's true.
And I'm a 7, and 7s are the spiritual teachers, you know, the ones that are always sending the message of spirit. The deep thinker. I'm the mystic on the mountain, you know, always seeking deeper and deeper and higher. And sometimes being in that seeker, spirit, mystic, vibrational state, it doesn't always correlate to physical manifestations, because that's just not how I operate. So this is just a divine connection. I just meant to say that. This is just a divine give and take and receive connection that we have. Yeah.
Good.
And my why, I'm going to actually read it, because right now I'm on a different mental plane. So I just want to read a couple things that I wrote when we first talked about this. My why for wanting to do this with you is to feel this energy of aliveness and being at this vibrational energy level right now, and pass this on to others so that they can feel it and catch it and be inspired by it in whatever way that they're needing and wanting, you know, at the moment. And as far as our businesses, we could talk about our professional whys too, which I think is important, because we want to introduce who we are. We've been talking for 20 minutes now, and nobody knows who we are. Well, some people do. And this transmission, this series of transmissions, will be the evidence of many universal principles at work, but along the laws of physics, specifically the law of attraction, how, you know, we each found each other, and also what I came to call the boomerang effect. And I'll describe that as whatever I do in my joy and in my genius and in my appreciation state, in my excitement state, and in my state of feeling free and full of love, will go out into the universe, touching points everywhere, and then come right back to me in surprisingly delightful, expansive, and infinite ways.
Oh, that is beautiful. That is so beautifully said.
Thank you.
And isn't that alive?
That is. That's alive at its best.
Yes, joy and genius.
And so let's talk about who we are, because I have that why, which comes from, this human heart soul place, but I also have the why that comes from my work in the world place. How do I want these transmissions to affect me and others in a way that helps my services get out? So I'm a ghostwriter and editor, and I'm a genius and joy alignment life coach. And I want to just touch as many people as possible. And so if there's someone out there that hears one of these transmissions and they say, oh my gosh, I need a ghostwriter, or I need to have my speech edited, or I want to create content for my website, or I or I'm really going through this hard transition in life, and I, balancing my work and my new life, and I'm needing help and guiding to find out who I am now and what I should be and where I'm going. What do I really want? So I want those kinds of people to be able to hear that conversation that we're having and know that if they feel that connection like you and I felt, you just contact me and we'll see what we can do from there. So that's my professional why. What's
I
yours?
like that very much.
Thank you.
I am a business and life success coach. So here comes the practical part. The manifesting, because my focus is to help entrepreneurs create a prosperous soul purpose business. So I focus on mindset, on relationship with money, on relationship with your inner being, on your self-image, because I think most people get their self-image damaged in childhood.
Yes.
And to correct that. And then also to look at your business, look at your dream, and make it happen. Because you can. You can make it happen, whatever you want. You can make it happen. Right. And it's my delight, the clients that I work with that have some of them have an undefined soul purpose. They know they are in some kind of business, but there's something deep inside that needs to come out. And it's to find that. Yeah. It's to really explore who you are and explore your gifts and explore how do we bring it in a practical way together. How are you going to help your clients? How are you going to solve their problems, and put that all together in a program, in a package, so that it makes sense to you, but also the people who need to work with you, that they can get it. Yeah. So I love doing that. I love the whole combination. My tagline is monetize your soul purpose, because I believe that every one of us have gifts. Every one of us have a soul purpose. I have something spiritual that we need to do in this world, and it's to, or I'd even rather say, to make a lucrative living doing it. Because that is the abundance of source. And for me, I took a long time to come to terms with that. Because I was brought up that it's wrong to want money. How ironic is it to be a physical manifester and it's wrong to have it? Wow. Can you imagine the inner conflict? Oh, wow. All my life. And so I'm passionate about it. I'm passionate about correcting this wrongness that we have, that we grew up with, that so many people grow up with. And there are so many spiritual entrepreneurs who are broke, who are not shaping, who are falling off and take a job. And they are going to die with this music in them. Just because of these terrible, and I suppose we're not going to swear on this show, but really terrible paradigms.
Yes, I love that.
We've been in condition to. And it's time to break it. It's time I'm passionate, one by one, break that paradigm, get people to serve with joy and love and abundance and spread it and pay it forward. Yeah. So I'm very passionate about that.
Oof, I feel that. Ooh. Oh my gosh. We are so right on the same page. We do it slightly differently, but oh my gosh, breaking that paradigm. Actually, let's save that for another transmission. Talking about when our paradigms shifted would be a really good topic.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to write that down for us.
Yes. Another term that I use is death and rebirth. You know, we constantly die all the time to be reborn into the newer, higher, more loving versions of ourselves. And in order to come to that new version of ourselves, we have to let go of the old, which is, you know, let it die.
To willingly die.
Absolutely. And so that's a great topic. We'll talk about that next time. I also want to talk about, I mean, I have a zillion topics that I noted to talk about, but I want to talk about maybe right after this in our next transmission, talking about the word permission and why is this transmission series called Permission to Come Alive?
And so shall we, how long are we going to make these conversations, Jan?
Well, I think we do it intuitively. It feels like this is a nice finish.
Okay.
For what we're doing now, and just let everybody absorb this. And then do another one.
And perhaps what I would love to do, it's just to, people watching this and they love this. It's food for thought for you. Sorry, English is not my first language, so you'll find me speaking and using the wrong tenses and sometimes the wrong words.
Okay.
So just bear with me.
I can help you with that. I'm an editor.
Oh, good. I write better than when I speak sometimes.
What was
But
I gonna?
anyway, what I wanted to say, food for thought for everybody listening to this or watching this, is to think for yourself. What does it mean to you to come alive?
Absolutely.
And permission. What does permission mean to you? And the alive, and bringing the two together, what does that mean to you?
Yes.
It would be lovely if you want to leave us some, because we're going to post this on Facebook and on YouTube and wherever you see this, we would love for you to leave a comment.
Absolutely.
Really. Give a like and please leave a comment.
Absolutely. And do you want to share our websites in case anyone wants to check out?
Sure. Mine is easy. You can see my name here on the Zoom. It's dinamarais.com.
That's easy. I love that. So I have two. The first is thegiftedghostwriter.com. And that's for my ghostwriting editing. And the second is the Genius and Joy Life Experience.com.
Oh, that sounds so nice.
So
that sounds so lovely.
I've enjoyed it. I'm going to exhale and just say thank you very much for this transmission. Thank you for all of the challenges that came along with it in the beginning. And I look forward to the next one. And I wish all of you a beautiful moment.
Everybody as well. Remember that your vibration is yours to control and to take it higher and higher. It's yours. And we'll see you next time.
This is Jan and Dina.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye.